Okay. So, I'm going to tell you a story, part of the Upanishad, of course, from the Keno Upanishad. To explain that statement in the Upanishad, Ishavasya, which said that standing still, it outstrips those who run, and the senses do not reach it. It's always ahead of them. Yeah. Oh, there are still some people coming. Come. Mr. Marvin Kurve is just coming. So, in the last part of the Keno Upanishad, to illustrate some of these things, there is a story. I don't know where, anyway, it doesn't matter. So, the gods, when you say gods, the Vedic gods, Agni, god of fire, most important god, to whom sacrifices are performed, who is invoked in all the yajnas where you light the fire. Agni, the lord of fire. Agni, the lord of desire. Desire is a form of fire, right? Agni. Igne, the ignition. In Latin, that Agni. The great god Agni. And of course, nature's gods, which is like Vāyu, the wind. And Indra is supposed to be the king of all gods, the lord of all the gods. And all the sense organs and the senses are called Indriyas. So Indra is the chief of all gods who presides over the sense organs. So all the three of them were, after having performed their tremendous deeds of bringing about cyclones and also blowing gentle breeze which we enjoy both, and the fire with all its capacity to fire and bring down anything if necessary, and also to fire the desire for good things, both sides, creative and destructive. And the great wind again, and of course the senses which enjoy this world, good and bad, and whose chief is Indra, the lord of all senses. All three of them, after having performed many of their wonderful deeds, were opening a bottle of champagne and enjoying themselves. I mean, celebrating their victory. Celebrating their victory. And then, maybe they didn't open champagne, Amrita. Incidentally, in India we have a whiskey called Amrit now. So, they were enjoying themselves. When the Supreme Being, Isha, who is described in the Upanishad, the Supreme, All-Pervading Self, decided to test them out because they became too egotistic in their claiming to have done great deeds and that they were the most powerful of anything known to mankind. So in that thrill of excitement of being the greatest. They were enjoying themselves. And the Supreme Being, the all-pervading Self, the Parabrahman, decided to test them out, to give them a message. So it, I'm not saying he or she, it appeared as an Yaksha. When you say Yaksha, it simply means a being with no known dimensions or no shapes. This Yaksha was the Supreme Being who appeared at a distance and stood there. They could kind of see it or feel it, let's put it. So they had a discussion among themselves. Who is this guy standing out there? Doesn't seem to be moving. Seems to be something extraordinary, but we don't understand. So they said, who will go and figure out who it is first? As usual, Agni said, I will. I am the Jata Vedas, the knower of all the Vedas. I am the object of all yajnas and sacrifices and rituals. Everything is burnt by me into ashes. I will go first. I should be given the right to investigate first. So he went. He wanted to ask the Yaksha. It's from the Keno Upanishad, okay, not from my mind. He wanted to ask him, who are you? But before he asked him, the Yaksha asked Agni, who are you? So Agni said, I am Jata Vedas, I am the Lord of all the Vedas, knower of all the Vedas. All sacrifices are performed for me. I can burn this whole world down with a spark. I often visit California and so all that. And, sorry, no, I'm just trying to give an incentive for people to come to Texas. So anyway, he said, one flame is enough to light the whole world, and so on. So I can burn down this entire universe. So the Yaksha plucked a blade of grass, and held it before him and sent to Agni, burn it. Agni tried all the techniques in his repertoire. We couldn't burn it. So he was confused. This has never happened before. He goes back and tells the company, which has now corked the bottle, now, who's this fellow? I can burn anything down. I couldn't burn the little blade of grass which was kept before me by this guy. He said, burn it, and I couldn't. So who is this? So Vāyu, the Lord of Winds, said, I'll go. I know how to handle this. We'll figure it out. So Vāyu went, and before Vāyu asked him, who are you? The Yaksha asked him, who are you? He said, I am Vāyu, the Lord of Wind. I am the hurricane, I am the cyclone. I am also the breath of life that keeps human beings alive. I am the air that circulates in this universe. I am the one who is conditioned by mechanics into air conditioners. I am the Lord of all. So the Yaksha said, okay, here is the blade of grass. Blow it. So Vāyu tried to blow from all directions. Couldn't move the blade of grass an inch. He was beaten. So he said, who is this fellow? So he went back and said, I can't understand who this guy is. Then Indra, the lord of the senses, Indriyas, sense organs, the king of all gods, the lord of enjoyment, went. He said, I think I can do this. But when he went closely and looked, there was nobody there, nothing to be found. At least the other two saw something. This guy couldn't see a thing. He just went there. He came back and he said, I don't know, I can't even see him, but something is it's not able to find him. Why? Because the senses cannot figure it out. When the senses are quiet, then it manifests itself. But Indra was in a great hurry anyway. He went back. And then, like in the Upanishads, it always happens, from a complete abstractness to concrete comes a young lady, most beautiful, who claims to be the daughter of the Himalayas. Parvati, the daughter of the Himalayas, appears in a beautiful form. And she sees these three guys discussing among themselves. She says, hey, come here, fools. She didn't say fools. The person you went to figure out and challenge is because of that being that you have all this power that you possess. So you cannot challenge that. You have become so proud in your own ego that you are the most powerful, so you have lost contact with the origin of this energy and power, which is the supreme reality. So then they understood. So the Isha, the supreme all-pervading reality, described in the Upanishad, it says that the senses cannot touch it. Like Indra could not grasp it. And that it is faster than the wind, because if somebody runs before the runner reaches there, it is already there. Because it is all-pervading, it doesn't have to move from place to place. The good news is that is the essence of your being and my being and everybody's being. This is the good news. Right? Okay. Now the fifth shloka, again, says again contradictory things. Just to prove that we are not talking about something which can be seen, measured by the senses and the mind, which is the origin of the senses of the mind and the mind, but which cannot be measured by the mind, by the ordinary mind. The mind which is always caught up in calculations. The mind that is always caught up in profit and loss accounts. The mind, you know what I mean. So, the fifth shloka says, Tadde jati, tanne jati, tad dure tad vadantike, tad antarasya sarvasya, tadu sarvasyasya bhahyata. Very funny. It means, Tadde jati, tanne jati, it moves, and yet it moves not. They are always trying to confuse us, right? Tat jati, tanne jati, it moves, and yet it moves not, which means it's not a material thing. Tat dure, tadvat antike, it's far away, and yet it's so near. Somebody said it is nearer to you than your own neck vein. It's far away and yet it is so near. Tad antarasya sarvasya. It is within everything. Tadu sarvasyasya bhahyata. It's also outside everything. Now this cannot be right. If it is inside everything, it cannot be outside everything. Because from the point of view of that which is being discussed here, there is no inside and there is no outside. And anybody or any being who has touched it, suppose has touched it, there is no inside and there is no outside. Which is why beings who have touched it give up even the necessity of closing their eyes to meditate. Have you seen any picture of Ramana Maharshi with his eyes closed? Somebody said that he has, and then he said, no, sorry, I didn't get it. There is no such picture, because there was no need to open your eyes or to shut your eyes, because it's inside and outside. You don't find it because when all finding stops, it is. When the mind is still, then it is seen as being inside, outside, far and near. Another way of putting that it is an all-pervading reality. Yeah, okay. Don't want to expand too much on this. This looks very peculiar. We did the 5th shloka, right? Yeah. The 6th one says, Yastu sarvani bhutani atmani ivanu pashyati. I'm chanting the Sanskrit because I love to do it. I know that it would save time if I didn't, but it's nice. We have it, I'm translating it, but the translation is not as good as the original, as trying in English. You look at this, how do you translate this? Yastu sarvani bhutani atmane ivanu pashyate. How do you? Atmane ivanu pashyate. He who sees all beings in his own self, and his own self in all beings, sarva bhuteshu cha atmanam tatho na vijugupsate. He does not feel any revulsion by reason of such a view. Which means, yastu sarvani bhutani atmani ivanu pashyati. He who sees all beings in his own self and sarva bhuteshu cha atmanam, and sees his own self in all other beings. Tatho na vijugupsate. He has no revulsion to anything, because he sees everything as one. So it is very difficult for a person like that to particularly show affection to one, because everything is there. I don't know how to, I'm trying my best. To see the divine in anything, including that which according to worldly standards is considered evil, is the sign of someone who has touched the Supreme Self. I'm trying to give some example which is contemporary, so you can understand. Not about me. There was a great being, person, called Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, who was the teacher, guru of Swami Vivekananda. Many people know Vivekananda, but few people know Ramakrishna. Although he was also partly because he was illiterate in the sense he could barely sign his own name. Swamiji was well read. Well, he went to abroad and he spoke in English and so on. But the man was from a village, a priest who worshipped a village deity. So, one day, now, at some point in his life, this man was lost in utter ecstasy. Then he didn't need any reason to be ecstatic. He was kind of ecstatic always. In fact, there's a story. When he was sitting in his room, some people came in and sat down in front of him who didn't know him at all. And they wanted to discuss samadhi, the word samadhi, which occurs in the Yoga Sutras. So Ramakrishna was sitting, he put one foot out like this, and he said samadhi, and then there was silence. So these people waited for 10-15 minutes, no sound, nothing. Then they went away saying, I don't know what happened. Not knowing that he was in samadhi. So this man, one day he was going those days most people, those who could afford it, traveled in a horse buggy. What is it called? Carriage with horse. So somebody was taking him somewhere and they passed through the main street of Calcutta. And he was looking out of the window when he suddenly saw a drunkard, a guy completely drunk, alcoholic, kind of dancing on the street, on the footpath. So he told the guy, stop. So they stopped. They didn't know why he's stopping, and they stopped. He opened the door and ran out, and he hugged this guy and started dancing with him. So everybody was wondering what is going on. So he danced with him and he said, look man, you're a drunk, right? Yes, I'm also drunk. I drink something, you drink something, so let's have a dance. And with great difficulty they managed to pull him out, put him in the carriage and take him back. So he went back. And that is not the end of the story. Many years later, many years later, I don't know if many people know the last part of the story. This much everybody knows. When the headquarters of the Ramakrishna mission was built in Calcutta, in a place called Belur Mutt. Swami Vivekananda was staying there. So if you go now, you will see an image of Ramakrishna. Those days there was nothing, there was only a photograph kept there. So he was meditating inside, and when he heard a lot of noise coming outside, so he came out. And he saw a man with long hair, big man, wearing only a small piece of cloth, staying there and having an argument with somebody. And the argument was, he was saying, I want to go inside the sanctum sanctorum and hug the picture there. So they are saying, no, sorry, you cannot do that. You cannot hug. So Swamiji came out. He said, what is going on? He said, I want to hug this man in the picture. He said, but why? He said, today you are seeing me, I am a yogi. Yes. But once upon a time I was a drunk. I was walking on the streets of Calcutta with this man. When I came here, I realized it is this man. He came out of the carriage and he danced with me and he hugged me. I went back home. I never had a desire to drink anymore because I was already drunk 24 hours. This is why I want to hug this picture. So somebody said, please go ahead and do it. Why? Because from his point of view, there was no difference. Right? It's the same. And because of that, that guy also understood that. If I had kept him away, then you can't say this. What is said in the Upanishad? He who sees all beings in his own self, and his own self in all beings, he has no revulsion to anything or anyone. Because the inner self is the same. So who will you hate? Where will you hate? How will you? It's not possible to do that. Seventh, yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaiva bhut vijanata tatra ko moha ko shoka ekatvam anupashyata. Such a being, one who knows that all beings are one with his own self, what delusion and what sorrow can such a person experience who has seen this oneness? We get deluded because we see the differences. If you see only one, where is the delusion coming from? So such a being has no differences. He sees his own self in all beings, and all beings in his own self. What delusion and what sorrow can come to him who sees this oneness? I don't know if you've looked at this. The problem is caused by the duality always. In oneness there is no duality, there is no sorrow, there is no problem. It's because of you and me that this problem is. If there is only you, which is to say that there is only me, nothing. When two begins, there is a problem. But everything moves towards two from the one. It looks like it's naturally moving towards the two. Even a single cellular organism a single first, and then it becomes double, and then I had a good friend in school whose name was Sebastian, very nice boy, cool, always intelligent. So in the biology class, he was asked to write a small short note in the science class on the amoeba. The amoeba is a single cellular organism. So the guy was very poetic, so he forgot that it is a science class. But he wrote it beautifully, I always remember it. He said, once upon a time, the science, yes, and there lived an amoeba. He was single. Alone. And then he became two. Split into two. And then they lived happily ever after. So when our friend Sebastian joined the army, the engineering college where he went to had his photograph in the magazine. It said, "Sebastian joins the army, God save the country." But he was a good fellow. Anyway, So this desire to multiply, to become two, is always kind of built in. But there is no multiple, there is only one. That multiplying is the illusion, it's only one. When that is seen, that one is seen everywhere. When that one is seen everywhere, there is no delusion. There is no two. This is what the Upanishad is trying to say. Ismin sarvani bhutani atmaiva vijanata tatra ko moha kasyokaha ekatvam anupashyata. Now the 8th shloka, which says, Sap Paryagat Shukram Akayam Avranam Asanaviram Shuddham Apapavidam Kavir Manishi Paribhuha Swayambhu Yatha Tat Athoritan Vyadat Shashvatyabhya Samibhya. He has filled all. He is the radiant. Who? The Isha, which is described in the beginning. He has filled everything. He is radiant. He is bodiless. He is invulnerable. He is devoid of sinews and muscles. He is pure and untouched by evil. He, the seer, the thinker, the all-pervading, self-existent, has duly distributed through endless years into objects according to their natures. Which means, in its origin, in its true origin, it's the seer. This seer of everything has projected this entire world. Also, therefore, this entire world is a part of the seer. Therefore, the little part has the capacity to figure out that he is none other than the seer. When this is understood, there is no delusion. Now look, if you say seer, seer meaning one who sees, there has to be something to see, right? Now when what is to be seen is also the seer, what is there to be seen? There is nothing to be seen. So the seer remains in its own glory. In the same way, since we, or this world is part of that, when we realize this, and in the depths of the quietness and tranquility of the mind, we are not concerned about what is being seen, but just pure seer as it is. Then there is no second thing to see. But then if there is no second thing to see, then how do we know that I am the seer, right? Okay. I see this world in front of me. You see this world. How do you see it? Because you have eyes? I have eyes, so I can see you. But can I see my own eye? No, in the mirror, yes, but it's a reflection. Can I turn around and see my eye? So because I cannot see the eye, can I say the eye does not exist? Because it is that because of which I see this world. Similar, somewhat similar to the seer. The seer cannot be seen, but because the seer is there, everything is seen, and therefore the seer exists. And when you go there, when the mind is quiet and everything is settled, then you see that the seer and that which is seen are not two different things. There is only the seer. Or you can say only the scene, whatever you want to say. But when you say only the scene, then it appears as if it is any material object. It appears as if it is an unconscious object. Things, generally we associate things with not being conscious. However, when all differences are removed, what remains is the seer. Well, let's put it this way. It's more a question of unconditioning rather than adding something. You're not adding anything. I'm trying hard to... I'm in the same position as the Rishi in the Keno Upanishad who says, Na vidmo, na vijanimo, yadhaitat anushishyat. I don't know how to talk to you about this. We are hoping that while you listen to it carefully, then suddenly you will only find out what it is. Instead of me, I cannot explain it. This is the best we can go. We can say that when the mind is absolutely quiet, that is only the seer. This much we can say. But it's for you to figure it out. Nobody can. I cannot figure it out for you. I can go there and say, okay, this is what it is. Beyond that, I cannot go. So, about that being, which is the seer, which is also our essence and your essence, the Upanishad in the 8th Shloka says, he has filled all, he is radiant, he has no body, he is invulnerable, he has no muscles or sinews, he is pure and untouched by all evil, he is the seer, the all-pervading, the self-existent, and has duly distributed himself into the objects which have their own nature. Every nature of every substance on this earth or in this galaxy is part of that being. And in true essence, you are that being. Not as Ravi or Shankar or Jacob, but in true essence, you and I are that being. This is the essence of the 8th Shloka of the Upanishad. Now, the 9th Shloka, because when you say this, sometimes one gets confounded. What are we trying to figure out? It looks like we're trying to figure out something that cannot be figured out. It's when the mind accepts the defeat of not being able to figure out that it becomes quiet, because it knows there is no movement possible. In that quietness, perhaps, it is known. Now, the 9th Shloka of the same Upanishad. We have only 18, okay? This is the 9th Shloka. Nowadays, the Upanishad classes are going very fast because everybody seems to be understanding what is going on. No, seriously. Yeah? Yeah. Which is good. Last time we did Keno Upanishad, everybody understood so fast that I had to do one more Upanishad. So, now the 9th Shloka of the Ishavasya Upanishad talks about precisely what we are discussing just now, that everybody understood or did not understand. Andham tama pravishanti yo avidyayam upasate tato bhuya yavate tamo yav vidyayam rata. Now this is a shloka which has been discussed through and through in many conversations and discussions, Shankara has written pages about it and so on and so forth. Because it says something very interesting, which we generally don't observe. Andham tama pravishantiyo avidyayam upasate. Into blinding darkness enter those who worship ignorance. This we all smile and say understood, because we have knowledge, right? It's nice. Most of the people are ignorant, so they are entering into blinding darkness. So that's nice. Yeah. So the Upanishad says, into blinding darkness enter those who worship ignorance. So we say, okay, good, that is correct, very logical, yes. But the next sentence is a real shot. It's a bomb. It says, tato bhuyayavate tamo yoyo ya uvidyayam rata. And those who delight in knowledge enter into still greater darkness. This is the problem. That I can understand. Those who worship ignorance enter into dark. Those who worship knowledge enter into greater darkness. So what do we do? Yeah, but it's a beautiful black hole. Yeah. So, two words are used here, which we need to look at carefully to understand. One is ignorance, the other is knowledge. Let's look at the second word first, knowledge. He who knows. Who enters into greater darkness. So what is this knowledge? Any knowledge. Philosophy, material knowledge, science, anything which we define as knowledge, what does it actually mean to us? Now in this context, I need to tell you something very interesting, maybe like a shock. There's another Upanishad, which is called the Mundaka Upanishad. There are many. Among the principal 11 Upanishads, there is something called the Mundaka Upanishad. Now, since we are on the subject of knowledge and ignorance, I would like to go to that for a second. Although we are not doing it here. This is the Mundaka Upanishad from the Atharva Veda. Oh, sorry, this is Mundaka Upanishad. Can I use my glass? Can't afford to commit a mistake. Yeah, okay. This is the section 1 of the Mundaka Upanishad. Bonus. The second shloka of the first part of the Mundaka Upanishad says that knowledge of the Brahman, which is also Isha, which Brahman taught to Atharvan, a history, and Atharvan taught to Angirasa. He in turn taught it to Satyavaha, son of Bharadwaja, and the son of Bharadwaja taught the knowledge of the Brahman to Angirasa. Then it says, which knowledge? Both the higher and the lower knowledge. The word knowledge. He taught him Brahma Vidyam. The lower Brahma Vidya, the higher is Brahma Vidya, other is only Vidya. So then here, knowledge, the word which was discussed in the Upanishad previously, has been divided into two kinds of knowledge. higher knowledge and lower knowledge. So probably the second part of the sloka refers to lower knowledge. He who worships knowledge enters into greater darkness. Now what does it mean? So what happened was, Saunaka havai mahashalo angirasam vidhivat upasanaha papracha kasminnu bhagavo vijñāte sarvamidam vijñātam bhavati iti. Saunaka, the great householder. So when you look at the Upanishads, many of the Upanishads are discussion between normal people like you and me, householders. Saunaka, the great householder, duly approached the sage Angirasa and asked him, Kasminnu bhagavo vijñāte sarvamidam vijñātam bhavati iti. He asked him, Honorable Sir, tell me, through what kind of knowledge, what being known, is everything known? Is there something which when one knows everything? Is the question asked. And the answer is, Tasmai sahovacha. There are two kinds of knowledge, says Angirasa. One is known as the higher knowledge by the knowers of the Brahman, and the other is known as the lower knowledge. So there are two kinds of knowledge. Okay. So Saunaka is wondering now, what is this higher knowledge and what is this lower knowledge? So says Angirasa, I will give you a list of the lower knowledge. Angirasa says to Saunaka, to your question, I am going to give you a list of what is lower knowledge. Here is the list, not mine, okay, from the Upanishad. Of these, Tatra apara, among that which is not apara, not higher knowledge, lower knowledge, here is the list. Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvana Veda, phonetics, ritual, grammar, etymology, metrics, astronomy. All this is lower knowledge. Vedas, Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Tatra para, Rigvedo, Yajurveda, Samavedo, Atharvaveda, Siksha, Kalpo, Vyakaranam, Niruktam, Chando, Jyotisha, iti. These. So shouldn't we read all this? If you don't read all this, then we won't be reading the Mundaka, because it's part of the Veda. So what does it mean? If we don't read all this, we won't be reading the Ishavasya Upanishad, because it is part of Yajurveda. So, the next is a small sentence which says why it is considered lower knowledge. Because Atha Tvarayaya Tat Aksharam Madhigamyate, that only is considered higher knowledge by which the undecaying Supreme Being is apprehended. Which means, even if you know all this, if that undecaying Supreme Being is not apprehended, then even this is lower knowledge. Not that you shouldn't be reading. If you don't read it, you won't even know what is being said, right? What they are trying to say, if you know all this, and still it doesn't lead you to the truth, it's still lower knowledge. That's what it is. I know people who know all the Vedas. Some of them are by heart. Still searching. Now we will go back to the Ishavasya Upanishad. Where did we leave it? I know, but where is it? My knowledge is in complete trouble. Yes, ninth. Okay. Andham tama pravishanti yo avidyayam upasate tato bhuya yivate tamo ya uvidyayam rataha. Okay. So, let's say knowledge. Let's look at knowledge. Now we have looked at lower knowledge, higher knowledge according to the Upanishad. Let's look at just the word knowledge. What does it mean when you say you have knowledge of something? Before I came for the first part of the session yesterday, 2 days ago, I did not know what this was. Unfortunately, I don't know even now, but suppose I didn't know what this was. I'm saying how the process of knowledge, what it means. I don't know what this is, it's kept here. And I'm looking at it and I'm studying it. I say that it's probably to keep the pages down, this is the weight, that's all. So I have understood it now, roughly what it is. And having understood it, I say I have knowledge of this. I still don't know what its name is, but this flat thing, whatever. I say I have knowledge of this, right? This is the process. First I don't know, then I study it. Then after studying it, what happens? It goes into my memory, right? The process of learning, and it is stored somewhere. In some neurons, we don't know where. It's stored there as a memory of the knowledge of this thing. So when I say I know about this, I mean that I have a memory of what I have understood about this, which is stored in my brain. And when I say I know about it, it means at any given moment I have the capacity to open the cubby hole and say this is what it is. This is the knowledge of this thing. Now the question is, suppose the knowledge of this is sitting somewhere in one of my wherever neurons or brain or whatever as a memory, and I'm able to open it when I want and put it back again. This is what I mean by knowledge, right? So it is based on memory, right? If it is based on memory, and if all the knowledge that we have is based on memory, have you heard of a memory which is of the present? A memory is always of the past. So all our knowledge is of the past. It's in the present only when you're learning it. The moment it's learnt, it's in the past. And if the truth is something which is here and now and present, nothing in the past can understand it. I don't know if you're able to follow what I'm trying to say. All the knowledge that we have is a memory stored in my brain, ready to be taken out at any point. And therefore, memory being always in the past cannot touch that which is ever present now. So, the Rishi says, if you think I have knowledge of the Brahman, you're still tottering in the darkness. Why? Because Brahman, or the Supreme Reality, is not a memory to be understood and stored somewhere, but it is ever present now and is always moving. Ishavasya midam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat. It's fresh now at every minute. It cannot be something which I have labeled and put in my cubby hole and recall it when I want. This is the Brahman. What is the Brahman? Satchidananda. Nothing. It's just a word I learnt. So, when the mind stops all these memories and image-making racket that it is always involved in, and says that I do not know, then it knows. And that does not require you to change your robes or change your hairstyle or not shave for many years. Nothing is required. It's on the spot now. If you grasp it, you grasp it. If you don't grasp it, you don't. What the Upanishad is again trying to say is not something old which has been labeled and kept away somewhere, said by somebody that it is so, and then I take it out and say, I think it is so. It is. If it is the truth, it has to be every second present with us now. It cannot be labeled, it cannot be put off in a cubby. Nothing can be done. And it does not depend on your definitions of it, or my definitions. It always is. And that, says the Upanishad, is your true identity. Not who I think I am or you think I am. Right? Okay, let's put it this way. Another way of looking at it. Now I'm sitting here talking to you. Unfortunately, many of you have read my autobiography. Right? So, what happened? You, before coming here, you formed some image about me, right? Luckily, I can't about you because I haven't seen you. Some of you have been coming for many years, I've already formed an image. But I don't go by it. So you formed an image. And you think, or I think, that I'm communicating with you. No. You have formed an image of me. I have formed an image of you. These two images are communicating. There is no real communication possible. When all these defenses are broken, there is communication. Then there is nothing to be taught. It's now. The problem is, when it is now, I go into the convenient thought process of again labeling it and putting it back somewhere. Because I'm afraid of the vulnerability of the mind which will break the images. So I want... So, what the Upanishad is asking, can we stay without these images, break them all? This is true sannyas. You can shave your head, of course, but can you shave the images? No, I didn't. You can shave your head. So I will leave it to you now to think about all this, and be free of thought. Yeah. So when we meet, we'll get the time to talk. Don't worry. I'm sure many people are seething with questions. So we might have to terminate this for the time being. And please, today I'm going to come there and have lunch with you. Don't ask me. Let me one pointedly eat my food. Yes.
We will now take a break for lunch between now and 1:30 p.m. You have a break between 1:30 and 3:30. Feel free to either read in the hall, relax, or walk the rounds. But make sure if you're walking the rounds where I ask you to stay on the chair. And we will meet again at 3:30. Please make sure you're seated here by 3:20 and 3:25. Still more half an hour, something like that. Thank you so much.
So everybody has fixed their position or what? Or will it change? No. Okay. I don't know, I'm just... Yeah. Should I change my position?